Welcome to Sleepy Science, a calm corner of the universe, where wonder drifts as gently as light across space. Tonight's journey takes us into the hidden threads of the cosmos, the vast web that ties galaxies together, stitching the sky into patterns too immense for the eye to see. Before we set out, I would love to know where you are listening from. It is always humbling to imagine these quiet stories being heard under so many different skies, yet all bound to the same cosmic fabric. If you enjoy these explorations, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And to those already here, thank you. You are helping this constellation of listeners grow. I hope this story soothes you toward rest. Though fair warning, the universe has a way of keeping us awake with wonder. If you do find yourself listening until the end, at least you will have learned something beautiful about the hidden design of the night. So let us begin with a quiet question to carry. If galaxies are threads in the universe's tapestry, then what thread are you? The night begins simply with stars. You step outside, or you close your eyes and imagine yourself beneath the open sky. At first, they seem like scattered sparks, tiny lanterns pinned against endless darkness. Yet, the longer you look, the less random they feel. There is rhythm in their placement, quiet lines between them, threads stitching one point to another. The sky is not chaotic. It is tapestry. Breathe slowly. Inhale and let the stars gather. Exhale and let the threads reveal themselves. You are not staring into emptiness. You are gazing into connection. For thousands of years, humans have traced patterns in these lights. Constellations are one name for them, shapes and stories woven from points. A hunter here, a lion there, a swan stretching its wings across the darkness. The patterns are not written in the stars themselves. They are drawn by our eyes, our minds, our need for order. Yet they are not an illusion. They are evidence of something deeper, the way humans, and perhaps all beings, seek threads among sparks. Imagine yourself tracing such a thread now. One star to the next, a line forming in your mind. Another line crosses it, and suddenly a shape emerges, something familiar, something meaningful. The stars themselves are silent, yet your imagination weaves them into a story. This is not deception. It is a revelation. Even the smallest sparks belong to something larger. Pause here and let this thought soften you. Your life, too, may sometimes feel like scattered sparks, moments without order, experiences without pattern. Yet, when you step back, threads emerge. Connections appear. A tapestry forms. You are not random. You are woven. Science, too, has followed the stars, searching for the patterns beyond imagination. Astronomers map their distances, their brightness, their movements. They find that stars gather in galaxies, galaxies in clusters, clusters in webs stretching across the cosmos. From far enough away, the universe looks less like a scatter of light and more like laced, delicate filaments, glowing with matter, surrounding vast pockets of dark. This is the cosmic web, the largest structure we know, yet shaped from threads not unlike those you trace in the night sky. Breathe again. Inhale the small spark above you. Exhale the vast web it belongs to. Both are true. The star is singular, and the star is connected. Consider this. Every star you see is both distant and near. Distant in space, light years away, shining from far across the galaxy, but near in time, because its light is here, now, reaching your eyes, entering your mind. You are stitched to it by the thread of light itself. When you look at a star, you are not separate from it. You are part of its story, the final stop of a journey that began long before you were born. Pause here and let this thought rest within you. Every spark you notice is not passive decoration. It is an interaction, a thread connecting you to a distant furnace of fire. You are not only the observer. You are part of the weaving. Ancient astronomers often spoke of the music of the spheres, the idea that stars and planets moved with hidden harmony, a cosmic song too vast for human ears. Today, science speaks, instead of gravity and relativity, of space-time and expansion. Yet the poetry remains. Beneath the silence of the night lies rhythm, structure, order. What once was myth is now measured, and yet both tell the same truth. The cosmos is not scattered chaos. It is threads of starlight, woven into harmony. Breathe deeply. Inhale the music hidden in silence. Exhale into its rhythm. You are listening to the universe, even when no sound reaches you. Now imagine the life of a star. It begins as dust and gas, pulled together by gravity, collapsing into brightness. It burns for millions or billions of years, then dies some quietly, some in explosions that outshine entire galaxies. The remains scatter again, dust and elements drifting into space, seeding the birth of new stars, new planets, new life. Each star is not only a point of light, it is a thread in a cycle, weaving creation into destruction, destruction into creation. The thread is never cut. It only changes color, changes form, continues on. Think of yourself in this cycle. The atoms in your body, the carbon, the oxygen, the iron in your blood were born in stars. You are not only beneath the tapestry, you are part of the thread itself, a spark woven into the web. The stars are not only above you, they are within you, stitched into your very being. Pause once more. Inhale the starlight in your blood. Exhale the starlight in your breath. You are not a spectator of the cosmos. You are its continuation. This realization can soothe you, for in moments when you feel small, scattered, or separate, you can look up or inward and see the truth. You are a thread, woven into something vast. You do not need to hold the whole tapestry. You only need to shine as your thread, trusting it belongs. Science shows us the universe as filaments of matter. Galaxies strung like pearls on invisible strings of dark energy. Philosophy shows us constellations, myths, and stories woven into the night. Both are right. Both reveal that even the smallest spark is not random. It is part of something larger, hidden but real. As you drift into rest tonight, imagine yourself lying beneath that tapestry. The stars above are not scattered points, but threads, luminous and strong. You are stitched to them both as observer and participant. Your breath is part of the pattern. Your heartbeat is part of the rhythm. Your life, even now, is part of the web. Breathe one last time with this truth. Inhale the spark. Exhale the thread. You are not separate. You are woven, and as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. The universe is not chaos. It is tapestry. And every spark, every start, every moment is a thread in its weaving. You rest now, not beneath randomness, but beneath threads of starlight. The tapestry of stars above you stretches farther than eyes can see. Yet, as you look more deeply, you realize that the stars are not scattered evenly, nor do they shine alone. They gather, bound by gravity, into vast collections, galaxies, the luminous islands of the universe. Each one is a city of suns, a floating world of billions of stars, drifting across the dark sea of space. Close your eyes and imagine them. Some are spirals, arms unfurling like pinwheels, dust and gas glowing in gentle arcs. Some are ellipticals, smooth and rounded, glowing with the light of ancient stars. Others are irregular, chaotic swirls, with no single shape, yet still bound by invisible threads. No two galaxies are the same, yet each tells a story. Breathe slowly. Inhale and see the arms of a spiral stretching outward. Exhale and drift into the calm glow of an elliptical. With each breath, you cross light years, floating from one island of stars to the next. The Milky Way is your own island. From within, it appears as a soft band of light across the sky. But if you could step outside, you would see it spiral, its arms wrapping around a glowing core, 100,000 light years across. Within it are billions of stars, each with planets, each with possibilities. And among them, one small star, one small planet, and you. Pause with this thought. Inhale the immensity of billions. Exhale into the intimacy of one. The galaxy is vast, yet you are part of it. You are one note in its endless symphony, and without you, it would be incomplete. Galaxies do not float alone. They gather in groups and clusters, like archipelagos scattered across a greater sea. The Milky Way belongs to the local group, along with the Andromeda Galaxy, the Triangulum Galaxy, and dozens of smaller companions. In the distant future, Andromeda and the Milky Way will drift together, merging into one larger island. Galaxies collide, not with destruction, but with transformation. Their stars pass through, their shapes distort, and new stars are born from the swirling chaos. The islands reshape, but the sea remains. Imagine yourself gliding toward Andromeda. It shines faintly in the night sky, even now, a misty smear just visible with clear eyes. In a few billion years, it will fill the heavens, its spiral arms stretching across your sky. And then, slowly, it will merge with your own island, creating a new home of stars. The future is written not in stillness, but in movement. Breathe again. Inhale the slow dance of galaxies. Exhale the patience of billions of years. You are carried by currents older than time, drifting on the same sea as every star. Scientists map galaxies across the universe, using telescopes to trace their light. They find that galaxies are not scattered randomly. They form filaments and walls, weaving the cosmic web, with vast voids between the motions of darkness where few stars shine. From far enough away, the universe itself looks like lace, galaxies gathered in threads and knots, each one an island in a greater fabric. Pause here and imagine yourself floating through this lace. Islands of stars glimmer at each crossing, while between them stretches emptiness deeper than imagination. You drift from cluster to cluster, listening to their silent stories, each one a library of suns. Every galaxy has its own history. Spirals often hum with youth, filled with clouds of gas where stars are still born. Ellipticals glow with age, their gas spent, their light softer, steadier, the legacy of older suns. Irregulars tell stories of turbulence, pulled and twisted by collisions, yet still shining defiantly. No two are alike, and yet all belong to the same sea. Think of your own life in this reflection. You too are an island, shaped by collisions, by gatherings, by the slow pull of invisible threads. At times, you feel like a spiral, alive with new beginnings. At times, you feel like an elliptical, carrying the weight of age and memory. At times, you feel irregular, scattered, yet still whole. All of it is part of the sea. Breathe once more. Inhale the spiral's vitality. Exhale the elliptical's calm. Inhale the irregular's resilience. Exhale the sea that holds them all. Galaxies may seem eternal, but they are not. They are born from clouds of matter, grow by gathering stars, and eventually fade. Their fates are shaped by dark matter and dark energy, by expansion and collision. And yet, even when their shapes dissolve, their stars continue, their light still travels, their story persists. You, too, carry this truth. You may change shape, you may merge with others, you may fade, but the threads of your story remain. Every spark you release, every light you shine, travels farther than you know. Now imagine standing once more beneath the night sky. What once seemed like scattered stars is now richer. You see not points, but islands, each one carrying billions of suns, each one a world of possibility. You are no longer adrift in emptiness. You are floating in an ocean of islands, each stitched to the next by invisible tides. Pause and let this truth comfort you. You are not alone. You are one island among many, part of a vast archipelago of light. Your spark belongs to the whole. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the islands glowing. Exhale the sea that carries them. You are part of this dance, drifting gently with the galaxies, carried by the currents of space. And as you drift deeper into the night, you hold one last reflection. Every island tells a story. Every story is stitched into the whole, and you are carried among them. Luminous and endless, you have wandered among the islands of stars, drifting from galaxy to galaxy as though they were lanterns floating on a cosmic sea. Yet something greater holds them, something unseen. Galaxies are not scattered aimlessly, nor do they wander alone. They are bound, guided, pulled into patterns by a force you cannot touch but always feel, gravity. Close your eyes and imagine a loom. Its frame is vast, larger than imagination, stretching across the universe itself. Threads of invisible force run across it, taut and silent. Upon these threads, galaxies gather like beads, strewn into filaments, woven into webs. The universe is not random, it is woven, and the weaver is gravity. Breathe slowly. Inhale the pull of connection. Exhale the weight that steadies. You live your life in gravity's arms. It holds you to the earth, keeps the moon in its dance, binds the planets to the sun. But beyond your sky, it shapes the architecture of the cosmos itself, a loom weaving matter into structure. Scientists call this the cosmic web. Look at the universe on its largest scales, and you do not see stars or galaxies alone. You see filaments stretching like rivers of light. clusters gathering like knots, vast voids opening between them. The galaxies are beads upon the threads, glowing at intersections. The web is woven from billions of years of motion, gravity slowly sculpting the shape of everything you know. Pause here and picture yourself gliding through this loom. The filaments stretch in every direction, faintly luminous, delicate but immense. You drift along one thread, past galaxies strung like pearls, until you reach a cluster where hundreds bloom together. Then you drift on, carried into the silence of a void, the space between. Even emptiness has shape, because gravity has woven around it. Gravity is invisible, yet it leaves patterns everywhere. It is not light, but it bends light. It is not matter, but it moves matter. Einstein described it not as a pull, but as the curvature of space-time itself. Mass bends the fabric of the cosmos, and along those curves, everything falls. Imagine laying a silk sheet across a frame. Place a bead upon it, and the fabric dips. Place many beads, and valleys form, drawing smaller beads toward them. This is the loom at work. Stars, planets, galaxies, all move along the silk of spacetime, guided by curves unseen. Breathe gently and let the image settle. Inhale the curve of the loom. Exhale the bead sliding along its thread. You, too, move on this fabric, carried by forces older than stars. On human scales, gravity feels ordinary, almost small. You drop a pebble, and it falls. You step, and your foot presses downward. But widen the view, and it becomes extraordinary. Gravity gathers dust into stars, stars into galaxies, galaxies into clusters, clusters into webs. From the smallest grain to the largest structure, the same force shapes it all. The loom works with infinite patience, weaving not in days or years, but in billions of years. Pause again and feel that patience. Inhale the slow weaving. Exhale the endless time. You are part of a fabric that has been in motion since the first breath of the cosmos. Dark matter deepens the mystery. Though unseen, it outweighs the stars, you see. It is the hidden thread upon which the web is strung. Without it, galaxies could not hold their stars. Clusters could not bind their galaxies. Dark matter does not shine, yet it is the frame of the loom. Its presence is known only by gravity's hand, pulling with weight we cannot see. Imagine threads of silk spun from invisible fiber, stronger than steel, delicate yet immense. This is the hidden loom upon which the universe hangs. Scientists map it indirectly, watching how galaxies move, how light bends around unseen mass. They find halos of dark matter surrounding galaxies, scaffolding that holds their luminous spirals together. They find filaments stretching across hundreds of millions of light years, dark but real, binding the universe into lace. The loom is always there, though your eyes cannot trace it. Breathe once more. Inhale the unseen strength. Exhale the trust in what you cannot see. Mystery is not absence. It is presence in disguise. You may feel small beneath such scales, but pause and consider. Gravity holds you too. The same force that binds galaxies binds your steps. When you walk, when you rest, when you breathe, you are in its embrace. You are not separate from the loom. You are woven into it. The atoms in your body sit upon the same silk as the stars. Now imagine following a single thread back in time. At the dawn of the universe, matter was almost evenly spread. Yet tiny ripples existed, slight variations in density. Gravity took those ripples and amplified them, drawing matter into knots, stretching filaments outward, creating the first galaxies where the threads crossed. From faint irregularities came structure. From near uniformity came pattern. The loom began its work, and the tapestry grew. Pause with this truth. Inhale the reminder that even small ripples matter. Exhale the trust that patterns can emerge from faint beginnings. The universe teaches you that, from subtlety, greatness grows. Consider, too, how galaxies interact on the loom. They are not static beads. They move along their threads, drifting, colliding, merging. Gravity choreographs their dance. Two galaxies meet, their stars passing without collision, but their shapes warping, twisting, stretching into new forms. Tails of stars stream outward. New clusters are born. Cores ignite with brightness. From the meeting of two, a new pattern emerges. The loom is not fixed. It is alive. Think of your own life with this image. You, too, are pulled by invisible threads, relationships, memories, choices. You collide, you merge, you reshape. Gravity in the cosmos mirrors the gravity in your heart, the unseen pulls that weave your story into others. You are not scattered. You are stitched. Breathe gently. Inhale the weight. Exhale the freedom of trust. You do not need to see every thread to know they are there. The future of the universe, too, rests in the loom. As expansion continues, the filaments may stretch, the clusters drift apart. Yet within each cluster, gravity will continue its work, pulling galaxies together, merging them into larger islands. Even as the sea widens, the loom holds its beads close where it can. The pattern shifts, but the weaving does not end. And so you rest tonight in this reflection. The universe is not chaos. It is woven. Gravity is the loom, the hidden hand drawing threads across infinity. Galaxies bloom where the lines meet, like beads upon silk, like dew upon a web. You are part of this fabric, both held and holding. Breathe one last time with this truth. Inhale the tapestry. Exhale the loom. You are not outside the weaving. You are within it, a thread in the cosmic web, shining as part of the whole. And as you drift deeper into rest, you carry a final reflection. The stars may seem scattered, the galaxies distant, but gravity binds them, stitching light into pattern. And in that pattern, you, too, belong. The loom of gravity is vast, weaving filaments across the universe. Yet much of the weaving is done by something unseen, something that does not glow or shine. You cannot look at the night sky and point to it. You cannot hold it, cannot catch its spark. And yet, without it, the tapestry would unravel. This hidden weaver is dark matter, mysterious, invisible, but essential. Close your eyes and imagine the sky as fabric stretched across a frame. The stars and galaxies are beads stitched upon it, luminous and bright. But beneath the fabric, unseen hands hold it taut, giving it strength. Without those hands, the stitches would slip, the fabric would sag, the beads scatter. Dark matter is those invisible hands. You do not see them, yet their touch is everywhere. Breathe slowly. Inhale and feel the unseen strength. Exhale and trust the fabric that holds you. You are suspended in a universe where most of the structure comes not from what you see, but from what you cannot. Scientists discovered dark matter not by observing it directly, but by noticing what could not be explained otherwise. In galaxies, stars whirl around the center far faster than visible matter should allow. By all calculation, they should fly apart, scattered into the dark. And yet, they hold together, bound by something more. This unseen presence outweighs all the stars, all the gas, all the light. It is the hidden mass, the invisible scaffold. Pause here. Inhale the stars whirling. Exhale the unseen weight that steadies them. You live in a cosmos where mystery is not the exception but the rule. Dark matter does not shine because it does not interact with light. Photons pass through it as though it were not there, but gravity reveals its presence. Galaxies bend light as it passes by, distorting distant views like glass warped by pressure. These distortions gravitational lensing show where dark matter gathers. With maps of such distortions, scientists trace invisible shapes, halos around galaxies, filaments across clusters. The hands emerge in outline, not in touch, but in the way they shape what can be seen. Imagine yourself walking across a frozen pond. Snow covers the ice, soft and bright, but beneath the snow lies the thickness of frozen water, holding your weight. You do not see the strength beneath, but you trust it. Without it, every step would break through. Dark matter is that thickness beneath the stars, holding galaxies in their dance, carrying you across the cosmic ice. Breathe gently. Inhale the trust. Exhale the surrender. The invisible can still be strong. Consider, too, how much of the universe is hidden. Only about 5% of the cosmos is ordinary matter, the stars, planets, and bodies we can see and touch. About 27% is dark matter, unseen yet shaping everything. And beyond even that, about 68% is dark energy, stranger still. The universe is mostly mystery, yet it holds you securely. You are surrounded by the unknown, but you are not lost within it. Pause with this reflection. Inhale the known. Exhale into the unknown. You are held by both. Dark matter may be invisible, but its influence is creative. It guided the first galaxies into form, drawing gas and dust into halos where stars could ignite. Without it, the universe might have remained a thin fog, never gathering into suns or worlds. It is the hidden gardener, pulling matter into knots, sculpting filaments, giving shape to the luminous beads upon the loom. What you see in the sky is only the embroidery. The stitching belongs to the unseen hands. Imagine drifting through a dark matter halo. Around you, no light, no glow, no stars. And yet, the space is alive with gravity, dense with unseen mass. You float weightless, but you are carried, held by a strength that is not visible. Then, at the center, stars bloom, galaxies swirl, life unfolds. The invisible makes the visible possible. Breathe again. Inhale the hidden halo. Exhale the luminous bloom. Even what you cannot see nourishes what you can. Perhaps this comforts you in your own life. Not everything you carry is visible. Not every influence can be named. Yet the invisible still holds youth kindnesses forgotten, the memories unspoken, the quiet strength that never shows its face. just as dark matter steadies galaxies, unseen forces steady you. Science still searches for the true nature of dark matter. Is it made of particles, yet undiscovered? Is it something stranger, a property of gravity itself we do not yet understand? No answer has arrived, and yet the mystery does not weaken its presence. The galaxies still hold, the loom is still strong. The hands, though unseen, still shape the cosmos. Pause once more. Inhale the mystery. Exhale the trust. You do not need to see everything to belong to it. Now imagine yourself again beneath the night sky. The stars glow like sparks, galaxies swirl like lanterns. But beneath them, invisible hands hold everything steady. Without them, the sparks would scatter, the lanterns drift away. Instead, they stay woven into threads, stitched into patterns. The universe is not empty. It is held by hands you cannot see, and so you rest in this reflection. The visible is never the whole. The brightest lights rely on the darkest mysteries. The tapestry glows only because the hidden threads hold it. You, too, are shaped by what cannot be seen. Breathe one final time with this truth. Inhale the luminous sky. Exhale into the invisible hands. You are part of this weaving, carried by the same unseen strength that binds galaxies. And as you drift deeper, you hold a final reflection. The universe is not fragile scatter. It is fabric, stitched and steady, shaped by hands that never show themselves but always hold. You rest tonight not only in the light of stars, but in the embrace of dark matter's invisible hands. At first glance, the night sky feels like a scatter of stars, random, sparkling points against an infinite dark. But science has given us a way to look deeper, beyond the veil of distance and light. With telescopes and patient mapping, the cosmos has been charted piece by piece. What emerges is not scatter at all, but structure, a pattern hidden on scales too vast for the eye alone. The universe is a web, a delicate frost of filaments stretched across space, stitched with galaxies and threaded with light. Close your eyes and imagine this web revealed. At first, it is faint, like frost spreading across a window pane, or veins branching within a leaf. Thin lines, almost invisible, stretch outward, meeting, crossing, forming knots. But these are not cracks or stems. They are filaments of galaxies, thousands, millions, billions of suns strung upon threads of gravity and dark matter. Between them lie voids, great empty regions where almost nothing shines, vast oceans of silence. Together, the filaments and voids create a pattern, delicate yet immense, fragile in appearance, but strong enough to hold the universe. Breathe slowly. Inhale the frost-like spread of filaments. Exhale into the dark stillness of the voids. You are drifting inside the largest structure known, a web that stretches farther than imagination. This revelation did not come at once. For centuries, astronomers saw galaxies scattered across the sky without clear order. Only with surveys mapping millions of them did the shape appear. Telescopes like the Sloan Digital Sky Survey gathered light from countless galaxies, plotting them in 3 dimensions. Slowly, the picture emerged. Galaxies were not isolated, but arranged in clusters. Clusters connected by filaments, filaments enclosing empty voids. The universe was not random. It was woven Pause with this thought. Inhale the patience of centuries. Exhale the clarity of revelation. Discovery itself is a kind of weaving the slow accumulation of threads until the pattern appears. Now, picture yourself floating along one of these filaments. It glows faintly beneath you, galaxies strung like lanterns on a path. You move silently, weightless, the thread stretching endlessly ahead. At intervals, the filament crosses others, forming knots clusters where hundreds or thousands of galaxies gather, bound together. Around them, the voids open, vast and silent, like deep wells of darkness. The contrast is striking. Delicate filaments full of life, emptiness yawning between them, and yet both are part of the web. Both shape the universe. The cosmic web resembles many things. Frost branching in delicate lines across glass, foam, bubbles pressing against bubbles, filaments marking their edges, veins carrying life through a body. Even neurons, with their branching patterns of connection. At scales wildly different, the same geometry emerges. Patterns repeat, fractal and familiar. The cosmos is not only vast, it is intimate. Breathe again. Inhale the frost. Exhale the foam. Inhale the veins. Exhale the neurons. You are floating in a web that feels both alien and personal, as though the structure of the universe echoes within you. Indeed, some scientists have compared the cosmic web to the brain. When mapped, the distribution of galaxies across the universe resembles the network of neurons in the cortex. Both show filaments and nodes. Both balance density with emptiness. The comparison is not perfect, but it whispers of a symmetry that the universe, at its largest, and the mind, at its smallest, may share a common rhythm. You are stitched to the cosmos, not only by matter, but by pattern. Pause here. Inhale the thought of symmetry. Exhale into the comfort of belonging. You are not separate from the web. You mirror it. The filaments themselves are woven from both ordinary matter and dark matter, with galaxies glowing along their densest threads. Gas flows along them, streaming into galaxies, fueling the birth of stars. The web is not static. It is alive, a circulatory system, carrying material across cosmic time. In its veins, the seeds of creation flow. Imagine drifting into a knot where filaments cross. Around you, galaxies whirl in clusters, bound together by gravity, their halos merging, their stars mingling. Here, the web tightens and creation quickens. In these nodes, the largest galaxies grow, fed by streams of matter flowing in along the threads. The loom gathers here, pulling strands together, weaving brilliance into the fabric, and then imagine drifting outward, away from the knots, into the voids. Darkness surrounds you, stretching for hundreds of millions of light years. Few galaxies glow here. Yet the voids are not meaningless. Their emptiness defines the web, giving shape to the filaments, outlining the frost. Without the silent spaces, the pattern would not exist. The voids are not absence. They are contrast, balance, rest. Breathe gently. Inhale the fullness of the filaments. Exhale into the silence of the voids. Both are necessary. Both belong. The cosmic web is not fixed. Over billions of years it has grown, stretched by expansion, shaped by gravity, sculpted by dark energy. In the early universe, matter was smoother, nearly uniform, with only tiny ripples. Gravity amplified these ripples, pulling matter into knots, stretching filaments outward, leaving voids behind. From faint irregularities came this vast frost of galaxies. From subtle fluctuations came the scaffolding of everything. Pause here and let the lesson sink in. Inhale the truth that small beginnings matter. Exhale the trust that vast patterns emerge in time. You are part of a universe that builds greatness from subtlety, threads from ripples, webs from whispers. Even now, telescopes reach farther, mapping deeper, tracing the web's shape across time. Radio surveys follow hydrogen, the most abundant element, as it flows along filaments. Space telescopes peer into distant epochs, catching the glow of galaxies forming along threads billions of years ago. The map grows richer, more detailed, but the mystery remains. What, exactly, is the web's fate? Will the expansion of the universe stretch it beyond recognition, pulling filaments so thin they vanish into isolation? Or will gravity continue its slow weaving, tightening clusters, feeding galaxies until the loom finds balance? You may never see the answer, but you rest in the wonder of the question. The web is both revelation and riddle. It shows you the structure of the cosmos, yet leaves its destiny uncertain. And perhaps that is fitting. For life, too, is woven from threads you cannot always trace, patterns you cannot always predict. Breathe one final time with this reflection. Inhale the web revealed. Exhale into the mystery that remains. You drift now in the frost of galaxies, the foam of filaments, the silence of voids. You float in the veins of the cosmos, delicate yet immense, fragile in appearance, but strong enough to hold everything. And as you rest, you carry one last thought. The universe is not scattered stars. It is a web revealed in patience, woven in silence, holding you gently within its threads. The web of the universe does not stop at filaments. Along its threads, galaxies gather like beads, drawn together by gravity's patient pull. Where filaments cross, the gatherings grow richer, forming cluster cities of galaxies, glowing in their multitudes, drifting in slow choreography. Within these clusters, galaxies are not alone. They share space, exchange matter, and sometimes they collide. Close your eyes and imagine one such cluster. Hundreds of galaxies hang in the dark, each with billions of stars, their shapes varied spirals with sweeping arms, ellipticals glowing like soft embers, irregular swirls pulled into strange forms. They move silently, though at speeds that defy comprehension, drawn toward one another, guided by the hidden gravity of the cluster. Breathe gently. Inhale the vision of galaxies gathering. Exhale into the vastness that contains them. You are drifting in a city of stars, larger than thought, older than memory. Collisions sound violent, but in truth they are slow and graceful, unfolding over millions, even billions of years. Picture two spirals approaching, their arms stretching out like dancers' hands. At first, their halos of dark matter brush against each other, tugging gently. Then, as they draw closer, their shapes distort. Stars are pulled into tidal streams, long ribbons glowing like trails of silk. Gas clouds collide, compress, and ignite in bursts of star formation, new suns kindled by the embrace. Pause here and hold this image, galaxies merging not with destruction, but with creation. In their collision, they give birth. Despite their immensity, the stars within galaxies are separated by vast distances. When galaxies collide, stars rarely strike one another. Instead, their orbits shift, their paths bend, their arrangements change. Like dancers weaving across a stage without touching, they move through one another's space. The real drama happens in the gas and dust, compressed into brilliance, igniting star nurseries. Collisions create as much as they transform. Breathe. Inhale the tension of approach. Exhale the release into new light. The dance of galaxies is not chaos, it is choreography written in gravity. Clusters hold many such stories. In some, multiple galaxies have merged into giants, elliptical forms swelling with the mass of many ancestors. In others, spirals still glide past one another, their arms tangled, their gas clouds bursting with stars. Astronomers have captured images of such interactions, the antennae galaxies, two spirals colliding, their arms stretching outward like insect feelers. The whirlpool galaxy, with its companion tugging at one edge, pulling streams of light across the void. Each picture is a snapshot in a dance that will continue long after human lifetimes, long after Earth itself has changed. Imagine watching such a dance in slow motion. First, two galaxies drift near, distant, but aware of each other's pull. Then, over millions of years, they spiral closer, arms twisting, shapes distorting. They pass through one another, emerge changed, and fall back again. The process repeats until finally they merge, forming one larger galaxy, its stars blended, its gas consumed in bursts of creation. What began as two has become one, a single island of light, carrying the memory of both. Pause here. Inhale the patience of cosmic time. Exhale the inevitability of union. Even in collision, there is grace. Clusters themselves are immense, held together by halos of dark matter, bathed in hot gas that glows faintly in X-rays. Between the galaxies, this gas stretches like atmosphere, thin but vast, a medium through which galaxies move. Some galaxies are stripped as they pass through, their gas drawn away by the cluster's pressure, leaving them quieter, no longer birthing new stars. Others feed on what they gather, glowing with renewed brilliance. In the city of galaxies, some fade, some flourish, some merge into new shapes. Breathe once more. Inhale the glowing gas. Exhale the quiet transformation. You are floating in a city where every light is alive, every path entwined. The Milky Way, too, belongs to a cluster. Ours is small compared to giants, but still, it is a gathering. Within the local group, our galaxy drifts alongside Andromeda and dozens of smaller companions. In billions of years, Andromeda and the Milky Way will merge, their spirals entwining, their stars blending into one. From the perspective of Earth, future skies will blaze with Andromeda's approach, its disk stretching across the heavens until the two galaxies become one. The night will be transformed, not with destruction, but with beauty. Pause here. Inhale the thought of future skies. Exhale the wonder of cosmic patience. The collision is inevitable, yet it is nothing to fear. It is part of the dance. Scientists simulate these collisions, watching galaxies merge on computers that compress billions of years into moments. They see the ribbons of stars, the bursts of light, the swelling of new forms. The simulations confirm what telescopes glimpse: the universe is not static. It is alive, with motion, with encounters, with transformation. Think of your own life in this reflection. You, too, are part of collisions, moments when paths cross, when lives merge, when identities shift. Sometimes it feels chaotic, as though old forms dissolve. But just like galaxies, you emerge changed, often larger, often brighter, carrying both the memory of what was and the promise of what is new. Collision is not always destruction. Often it is creation. Breathe with this thought. Inhale the embrace of collision. Exhale the light of transformation. Clusters remind you that the universe is not a place of solitude. Galaxies gather, collide, merge, and continue. They do not drift endlessly apart. They form communities, shaped by gravity, sculpted by time. And within those gatherings, even the slowest collision leads to birth. Even the quietest merger reshapes the whole. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself drifting through one such cluster. Around you, galaxies glow like lanterns, their spirals twisting, their cores burning. Some drift gently, some stretch and warp, caught in collisions. Others rest quietly, ancient and calm, their stories already told. You float among them, a witness to the dance of light and time. Pause one final time. Inhale the sight of galaxies entwined. Exhale into the calm of their patience. You are part of the same dance, carried by the same forces, bound by the same weaving. And as you drift deeper into rest, you carry this reflection. Even in collision, there is grace. Even in merging, there is creation. The universe is not scattered chaos, but a dance of encounters, each one shaping, each one weaving, each one belonging. You rest tonight in the embrace of clusters and collisions, held by the slow, graceful dance of the cosmos. The cosmic web glows with threads of light, filaments of galaxies stretching across the universe like veins of fire. But between those threads, vast spaces open, quiet and empty. These are the cosmic voids, immense regions where galaxies are rare, where matter itself seems to vanish into silence. They are not small gaps, but oceans of darkness, some hundreds of millions of light years across. Close your eyes and picture them. Imagine drifting away from a luminous filament where galaxies cluster like beads. Slowly, the lights thin. One starry island fades behind you, then another, until at last only darkness surrounds you. You are not lost, you are floating in a void, a space so wide that silence itself becomes your companion. Breathe slowly, inhale the stillness, exhale the vastness. The void is not frightening, it is soft, like a great dark ocean, holding you gently. Scientists first discovered voids by mapping the universe, expecting to find galaxies spread more evenly. Instead, they found patches almost entirely empty, dark bubbles between bright filaments. These voids form naturally, as gravity pulls matter into threads and knots, leaving behind expanses where little remains. They are the spaces between the stitches, the quiet pauses in the cosmic song. Pause here and consider this truth. The universe is not only made of presence, it is also made of absence, not only of stars, but of the darkness between them. Both are needed to weave the pattern in some voids. A few lonely galaxies drift, isolated from their kin. These rare wanderers are called void galaxies. Imagine them as lanterns, far apart, each glowing faintly, carrying its own story in silence. They form stars slowly, sometimes fed by thin rivers of gas flowing from nearby filaments. Their isolation shapes them, making them quieter, gentler than their crowded cousins. Breathe again. Inhale the lantern's glow. Exhale the ocean of silence around it. Even in emptiness, there is light. The voids may seem lifeless, but they have their own beauty. Imagine them as the spaces between notes in music. Without silence, there is no song. Without the dark spaces, the threads of galaxies would not shine as clearly. The voids define the web by surrounding it, giving contrast, giving form. You drift further into the image. Around you, the darkness stretches endlessly, yet it is not empty of meaning. It is balance. It is rest. It is the universe pausing, breathing out, leaving space between its stitches. Scientists study voids not only for their silence, but for what they reveal. Because they are less crowded, they may hold clues to the nature of dark energy, the force driving expansion. In emptier regions, expansion moves faster, stretching the voids wider. By measuring their growth, scientists hope to understand the future of the cosmos. Even in absence, there is knowledge. Pause once more. Inhale the curiosity. Exhale the wonder. Emptiness itself can be a teacher. Think of your own life with this reflection. You often fill your days with sound, movement, thought, yet it is in pauses, in quiet spaces, that meaning often settles. Silence is not nothingness. It is room for restoration, for reflection, for growth. Just as the universe needs its voids, you need your moments of stillness. Imagine yourself resting in such a void, floating gently, no pressure to move, no need to fill. The absence is a gift, the quiet a kind of presence. The void is not against you. It is holding you. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the dark ocean. Exhale into its embrace. You are not lost in emptiness. You are carried by it, and as you drift deeper into rest, you hold this reflection. Between the threads of light, the universe leaves room for silence. Between the galaxies, the voids stretch wide, not as emptiness, but as balance. You, too, are stitched from both the sparks of presence and the spaces of stillness. Tonight, you float in the vast voids, surrounded by silence, carried by calm. The universe speaks, but it does not use sound. Its voice is light. Every star, every galaxy, every glowing remnant of fire sends out streams of photons, tiny packets of energy. They leave their birthplace and travel across the abyss, straight and tireless, for billions of years. When they finally reach you, they become sight. They become knowledge. They become wonder. Close your eyes and picture these photons as needles of brightness, sewing the night sky into your vision. One thread comes from a star just nearby, a few light years away. Another thread comes from a galaxy so far that its light began before Earth was born. Together, these needles stitch the fabric of the cosmos, creating the patterns you see above. Without light, the universe would be invisible. With it, the tapestry shines. Breathe slowly. Inhale, as though gathering threads of starlight. Exhale, as though releasing them into vision. You are not separate from this weaving. You are stitched by it. Each photon carries a story. Its color reveals its temperature: blue for the hottest stars, red for the cooler ones. Its path reveals its history, bent by gravity when passing massive objects, stretched by the expansion of the universe itself. By studying these faint messengers, scientists trace the age, distance, and fate of the cosmos. Light is not only beauty, it is knowledge carried on invisible wings. Pause here and let this thought settle. Inhale the beauty, exhale the knowledge. Both arrive on the same beams. Imagine watching a single photon begin its journey. Deep inside a star, it is born in fusion, the merging of atomic nuclei into heavier elements. The energy bursts outward, but the path is not straight. It scatters, absorbed, and re-emitted countless times, wandering through dense plasma for thousands of years before escaping into open space. Once free, it travels without pause, crossing unimaginable distances. At last, it meets your eye, or a telescope's mirror, and its story is told. Breathe gently. Inhale the birth of the photon. Exhale its long journey. You are the final stop in a story billions of years old. The photons that form the Milky Way's glow are young in cosmic terms, mere tens of thousands of years old. But others are ancient. Some began their journey soon after the Big Bang, nearly 14 billion years ago. These photons now form the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of creation, stretched into microwaves by the expansion of space. They are the oldest light we can see, the first stitches in the fabric of the cosmos, still glowing, still reaching us. Pause again. Inhale the ancient light. Exhale into the present. You live surrounded by messages from the beginning, even if they hum too softly for your eyes to see. The path of light is not always straight. When photons pass near massive objects, galaxies, clusters, even black holes, their path bends, curved by gravity's loom. This is gravitational lensing, the universe sewing its fabric with loops and spirals. Through these distortions, scientists glimpse galaxies otherwise hidden, light magnified by invisible hands. The cosmos, through its bending, reveals more of itself. Imagine looking into such a lens. Behind a glowing cluster, faint arcs of light appear: distant galaxies stretched into curved threads, their photons redirected on their way to you. It is as if the loom has doubled its weave, layering patterns upon patterns. The needle of light is tireless, even when its path is bent. Breathe once more. Inhale the straight thread. Exhale the curved arc. Both are stories. Both are stitches in the fabric of your sky. Photons also reveal motion. As galaxies drift away with the universe's expansion, their light is stretched, shifted into red. This redshift is a measure of distance, a marker of time. By reading it, scientists map how the universe grows. The needles of light do more than weave. They measure the cloth as it expands. Pause with this truth. Inhale the threads stretched thin. Exhale the fabric that grows. You are part of a cosmos still unfolding, still sewing itself wider. Now picture the night sky again. Every spark you see is not light happening now, but light arriving now. The stars above may no longer exist as you see them. Their photons began long ago, carrying the memory of their glow across the dark. The sky is a museum, and light is the curator. displaying relics of the past in the present. This is the paradox of starlight. When you gaze upward, you see not the universe as it is, but as it was. The stars are stories delayed, messages delivered on a timescale longer than your life. The photons that reach you are time travelers, bearing witness to eras long gone. And still, they shine. Breathe deeply. Inhale the time traveler's gift. Exhale the wonder of its arrival. The light in your eyes is history made present. Even your own body is shaped by photons. The warmth of the sun, carried by its light, fuels life. Plants drink photons in photosynthesis, turning them into food, into oxygen, into the foundation of the biosphere. Your breath, your blood, your very being are nourished by the light that falls upon your world. Photons stitch not only the sky into your eyes, but life into your body. Pause once more. Inhale the sun's gift. Exhale your belonging to it. You are not only a watcher of light, you are a child of it. And so, light becomes more than a needle. It is the thread itself, the medium through which the universe is revealed and sustained. Without it, the cosmos would be silent, unseen. With it, you are connected to distant galaxies, ancient epochs, and the warmth of your own star as you drift deeper into rest tonight. Imagine yourself as part of this weaving. Photons stream toward you from every direction, stitching you into the fabric of the universe. You are not apart from the tapestry. You are inside it, stitched by light, carried by threads of brightness across the dark. Breathe one last time with this truth. Inhale the story of starlight. Exhale into the fabric it creates. You are a piece of the universe's cloth, luminous and alive, and as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. The cosmos is not silent. It is sewn by light itself, needles stitching across billions of years, weaving a sky that tells the story of everything. The fabric of the universe is not fixed. It is not a frozen tapestry hung in silence. It is alive, moving, stretching, reshaping itself with every passing moment. From the first breath of the cosmos, expansion has carried matter outward, unfolding space itself. The stars, galaxies, and threads of the cosmic web drift apart like a quilt being pulled gently at its edges. The pattern remains, but the scale grows ever larger. Close your eyes and imagine this quilt. Its threads are galaxies, its knots are clusters, its spaces are the voids between. Slowly, silently, the fabric stretches. 1,000 light years widen to 2, then to 10, then to millions. No sound accompanies it, only the quiet pull of time. You rest upon this expanding quilt, part of its pattern, carried with its growth. Breathe slowly. Inhale the vastness unfolding. Exhale into the calm of its patience. The universe expands, but not in hasted stretches with the rhythm of eternity. Scientists describe this with precision. Galaxies recede from one another, not because they move through space, but because space itself expands. The light from distant galaxies stretches too, its waves pulled longer, shifting toward red. This redshift is the signature of expansion, a gentle but persistent mark of the universe's growth. What your eyes see as faint smears of light are also clocks, recording the stretching of time and space. Pause here and let this truth settle. Inhale the glow of distant galaxies. Exhale the knowledge that they drift. You are not standing outside the quilt. You are sewn into it, every fiber moving outward with you. At first, expansion was slower, tempered by the pull of gravity. Galaxies tried to draw together, to weave themselves tighter. But then, billions of years ago, something unexpected happened. Expansion began to accelerate. Dark energy, mysterious and unseen, joined the weave, pulling more strongly than gravity could resist. The quilt did not only stretch, it began to stretch faster. Even now, the edges are being pulled outward, faster and faster, carrying galaxies beyond one another's reach. Imagine yourself drifting on this quilt. The fabric stretches beneath you, carrying you gently, but you cannot feel the motion. Expansion is not wind or tide. It is the stage itself, widening, carrying everything within it. Galaxies do not race through space. They drift as the fabric itself grows beneath them. You are not on top of this quilt. You are inside it, stitched into its very threads. Breathe again. Inhale the mystery of dark energy. Exhale the patience of gravity. Both are hands upon the quilt, shaping its fate. The pattern of the web endures, even as it stretches. Filaments lengthen, knots remain bound, voids widen. Creation is ongoing, yet change is constant. New stars are born within galaxies, fueled by gas, flowing along filaments. Other stars die, scattering their elements into the web. Threads grow brighter in places, thinner in others. The quilt does not unravel, evolves. Pause once more. Inhale the brightness of new stars. Exhale the fading of old ones. Both belong. Both are stitches in the endless weaving. Consider, too, what the future may hold. As expansion continues, galaxies far from our cluster will slip beyond sight. Their light will never reach us again, stretched too far, carried too fast. The quilt will grow so large that only the nearest threads remain visible. For future eyes, the universe may seem smaller, lonelier, though the pattern continues beyond what can be seen. Even then, the fabric endures, carrying its unseen stories outward. This is not an ending, but a reminder. You cannot always see every part of the weave, yet it exists, stretching beyond your horizon, threads continuing where your vision cannot follow. The cosmos teaches patience, humility, and trust that even when unseen, the pattern persists. Breathe gently. Inhale the unseen threads. Exhale the trust that they are there. The quilt holds you whether you see it or not. The expanding quilt is not only a metaphor for the universe, it is a reflection of life itself. You, to grow and stretch, your story unfolding with each breath. New threads enter your pattern, people, moments, memories. Others drift outward, thinning with distance, but still part of the weave. Your life is not static. It is expanding, changing, reshaping, and yet the pattern of you endures. Pause with this reflection. Inhale your own growth. Exhale your own patience. You are not unraveling. You are expanding. The beauty of the quilt is not only in its scale, but in its ongoing nature. There is no final seam, no edge where it ends. Creation continues, star by star, galaxy by galaxy, thread by thread. Each moment adds to the fabric, each photon of light, a new stitch in its endless design. You are surrounded not by a finished picture, but by a living tapestry, always in motion, always becoming. As you drift deeper into rest, imagine yourself lying upon this quilt. Its threads glow faintly beneath you, stretching outward into darkness. You are not separate from it. You are part of its weave, a spark stitched into its design. You are carried outward with the galaxies, with the clusters, with the stars. You expand with the universe itself. Breathe one last time with this vision. Inhale the quilt unfolding. Exhale the infinite patience of its weaving. You rest not in chaos, but in pattern, not in stillness, but in expansion. And as you close this chapter, you hold a final reflection. The universe is not finished. It stretches, it grows, it endures. The cosmic quilt is expanding, carrying you with it, and in its endless fabric, you will always belong. The journey has carried you far through webs of galaxies, through voids and filaments, through clusters and collisions. You have floated on light, rested in silence, stretched with the expansion of space itself. Now, at last, you return to yourself, here, on one small planet, circling one ordinary star, in one spiral arm of the Milky Way. It might seem like narrowing, like shrinking from immensity back to a single point. Yet, instead, it feels like arrival. For the vast tapestry of the universe is not out there alone. It is within you. You are a thread in its fabric. Close your eyes and rest in this thought. Your breath, your body, your being, none of it stands apart from the cosmos. The atoms in your blood were born in stars long ago. The iron that carries oxygen through your veins was forged in supernova. The calcium in your bones condensed in ancient furnaces of light. The oxygen you breathe was created in the fusion of stars that lived and died before Earth was born. You are not separate. You are stitched from the same cloth as the galaxies. Breathe gently. Inhale the starlight in your body. Exhale the belonging it gives. You are not outside the tapestry. You are woven into it. Consider the path of a single atom within you. Perhaps a carbon atom, part of your skin, your breath, your thought. Long ago, it drifted as gas in space. It was pulled into a cloud, heated, fused within a star, released again in its death, scattered into the interstellar medium. For billions of years, it wandered, until at last it became part of Earth, part of life, part of you. Tonight, it rests here, glowing faintly with the energy of your living. That atom is your inheritance, a thread linking you to stars long vanished. Pause with this reflection. Inhale the age of your atoms. Exhale the continuity they carry. You are not fleeting. You are ancient and new, all at once. Every action you take ripples outward, adding to the fabric. When you breathe, you release carbon that will one day travel on the air, perhaps feeding a tree, perhaps returning to the soil, perhaps drifting back to the stars in time. When you touch another life, you weave your thread into theirs, adding to the tapestry's design. You are not alone in your weaving. Every person, every creature, every star contributes. The cosmos is collective. Imagine looking again at the cosmic web, the filaments, the clusters, the voids. Now imagine zooming closer, closer still, until you see yourself, one small point of light upon a thread. Your spark is not brighter than others, nor dimmer. It is one among many, equal, essential. Without you, the tapestry would not be whole. Without you, one thread would be missing. Breathe deeply. Inhale your presence. Exhale your connection. You are not here by accident. You are part of the design. Science shows the vastness of the cosmos, but also your place within it. The elements of your body are proof that you belong to the stars. The physics of your neurons is proof that you belong to the quantum world. The light you see is proof that you are stitched to galaxies across time. Every discovery, every telescope, every map whispers the same truth. You are not separate from the fabric of the universe. You are a thread within it, glowing softly in the dark. Pause once more. Inhale the belonging. Exhale the wonder. To live is to be woven. Even your consciousness can be seen as a kind of weaving tapestry of neurons, firing and connecting, creating patterns of thought, memory, and dream. The architecture of your brain mirrors the cosmic web, filaments of connection, nodes of brightness, silences between. You carry the pattern inside as surely as it surrounds you outside. The symmetry is not coincidence, it is resonance. Think of your life as a single thread, yet one that crosses countless others. The people you have met, the moments you have lived, the memories you hold, they are stitches, intersections, knots in the design. Sometimes the weaving feels tangled, sometimes it feels loose, yet all of it contributes to the greater whole. No thread is wasted. Every color matters. Breathe again. Inhale the beauty of your crossings. Exhale the acceptance of your knots. Even in imperfection, the tapestry shines. The expanding quilt of the universe stretches endlessly. But within it, your thread holds its place. You need not carry the whole cloth. You only need to shine in your stitch, to contribute your spark, to be. That is enough. The cosmos is not complete without you. Pause and let this truth cradle you. Inhale the sufficiency of your being. Exhale the peace of your belonging. You are enough because you are part of the weave. And so, the journey that began with scattered sparks and threads of starlight ends here, with you one thread, luminous and alive. The stars above are not separate. They are kin. The galaxies are not distant. They are mirrored within you. The voids are not empty. They are balance. The fabric is not foreign. It is your home. Imagine lying upon this tapestry now. Beneath you, the threads stretch endlessly, luminous and soft. Around you, galaxies swirl, clusters gather, voids open, light stitches. And within you, atoms glow, neurons weave, breath carries. There is no difference. You are within the fabric, and the fabric is within you. Breathe one final time. Inhale the universe. Exhale yourself. The two are the same. And as you drift into silence, you hold one last reflection. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its continuation, its participant, its thread. You glow softly in the dark, woven into a pattern older than time, larger than imagination. You are a thread in the tapestry, and the tapestry endures. In every direction you look, galaxies gleam like lanterns hung across a cosmic night. Yet their brightness is only the embroidery. The true fabric lies unseen. Beneath the glitter of stars, beneath the glow of clusters, there stretches a hidden lattice, dark matter. It does not shine. It does not scatter light, but its presence is everywhere, shaping what you see and what you cannot. Astronomers discovered it, not by sight, but by weight. Galaxies spin so quickly that, If only their visible matter held them, they would tear apart, flinging stars outward like sparks from a wheel. And yet they remain whole, bound together by something unseen. That invisible presence is dark matter, holding galaxies like a net holds fish, quiet but unbreakable. You imagine it as threads, black strings pulled taut across the cosmos, guiding galaxies into their places. At the intersections of these threads, matter gathers, gas condenses, stars ignite, and worlds are born. Without it, there would be no structure, no clusters, no cosmic web. The universe would be a fog of scattered particles, drifting without form. Though it cannot be seen directly, its fingerprints are everywhere. Astronomers map it by watching how galaxies bend light behind them, a phenomenon called gravitational lensing. Light curves not only around stars and planets, but around the invisible mass of dark matter. In this way, the hidden scaffolding reveals itself, traced by the path of bent starlight. Step into imagination, and you find yourself drifting through this unseen lattice. Around you, galaxies sparkle, but beneath them stretches a vast mesh, like strands of silk glowing faintly in shadow. The web hums, not with light, but with gravity, each thread pulling, weaving, and holding. You are surrounded by absence. Yet it is absence that gives the universe form. Dark matter makes up far more of the cosmos than stars, planets, or people. It outweighs all visible matter many times over, yet we live within its quiet embrace without ever touching it. It does not burn or shine, does not collide or scatter, simply pulls, patiently, endlessly. Think of it as the stage upon which the drama of the cosmos unfolds. Stars are the actors, galaxies the scenes, but dark matter is the scaffolding of the theater itself. Without it, the story could not be told. And though it hides from your eyes, it has shaped everything: where galaxies formed, how clusters grew, why the web of the universe looks as it does. Scientists still search for what dark matter truly is. Perhaps it is made of unknown particles, streaming silently through your body every second, unnoticed. Perhaps it is something stranger, a property of gravity itself we have yet to understand. The mystery remains, one of the greatest in science. The universe held together by something we cannot yet name with certainty. Yet, in this mystery lies comfort. You live in a cosmos that is larger than your knowing, stitched by hands of shadow. Its quiet presence says, not all truths are visible, not all support is seen. Sometimes the most essential things are the ones that remain hidden. You rest in the thought that even darkness has structure. Even the unseen holds meaning. Galaxies would scatter without their shadow threads. Stars would drift apart without their hidden embrace. Darkness is not emptiness, is the quiet stitching that allows light to exist in patterns. And as you drift deeper into the cosmic web, you sense that the journey does not end here. For if dark matter shapes the bones of the universe, there is still another presence, stranger still, shaping its breath and motion. The threads of shadow may hold the stars, but another force pushes them ever farther apart. Imagine the universe before light, an endless ocean of darkness, quiet and waiting. For hundreds of millions of years after the Big Bang, no stars had yet been born. Hydrogen and helium drifted in vast clouds, guided by invisible filaments of dark matter. The structure of the cosmos was there, but it was hidden, a skeleton in shadow, waiting for the first spark, And then, slowly, the lights began to appear. The earliest stars, called population 3 stars, flickered into being. They were enormous compared to the stars you know today, many times the size of the sun, burning with fierce brightness. Their lives were short, lasting only a few million years, but their glow spread across the void, piercing the darkness. You picture these first lights, like lanterns, hung along unseen roads. The filaments of dark matter had gathered gas into knots and threads, and their gravity pulled atoms together until they ignited. Suddenly, the skeleton of the cosmos was outlined not with string or shadow, but with brilliance. The universe became visible for the first time. Their light did more than shine. It transformed. As photons streamed outward, they broke apart hydrogen atoms, reionizing the gas that had filled the cosmos since its birth. The universe, once opaque, became transparent. It was as though the first stars not only lit the night, but cleared the air, allowing the great web of galaxies to breathe and grow. These ancient suns forged the first heavy elements in their fiery cores: carbon, oxygen, iron, the ingredients for planets, oceans, and life. When they died, many in violent supernova, they scattered these elements into space, seeding the cosmos with the materials that would one day form you. Without the first lights, there would be no earth, no water, no breath. Step into imagination, and you see the scene unfold. A great emptiness stretches around you until one point of light appears, then another, then 1,000 more. Each star glimmers like a beacon in a sea of shadow, and slowly the pathways become visible, the threads where galaxies will gather, the nodes where clusters will grow. The cosmos transforms from silence into song, from blankness into pattern. Astronomers, looking across time with telescopes, still search for the faint glow of these first lights. They study galaxies so distant their light has traveled more than 13 billion years to reach us, carrying the story of that dawn. Each faint smudge in their lenses is a window into the moment when darkness gave way to radiance. You rest in the thought that light is always both revelation and creation. These stars did not simply illuminate what was there. They changed it. They gave the universe its first colors, its first metals, its first chance at complexity. They were beginnings, and their deaths were also gifts, scattering seeds for the future. And though those first stars are long gone, their legacy burns on in every star you see today. The sun itself is their descendant, its atoms forged from their ashes. When you look at the night sky, you are not only seeing stars, you are seeing the memory of the first lights reflected forward, carried through time. The universe is no longer empty, no longer hidden. The lanterns have been lit, the pathways revealed, and as you follow them in thought, you realize they point forward toward galaxies rising, clusters gathering, and the great cosmic web glowing with new fire. Look closely at the universe, and you find patterns repeating. A single galaxy, spinning with its stars and clouds, is part of something larger, cluster-bound by gravity. That cluster belongs to a greater assembly, a supercluster, stretching across hundreds of millions of light years. And even those superclusters are not isolated. They sit along threads woven into a cosmic web that extends farther than your eyes or your instruments can reach. It is webs within webs, patterns inside patterns. The universe builds itself with a quiet repetition, a fractal order that seems infinite. You imagine lace stretched across the cosmos, delicate yet vast, each loop and knot a galaxy, each strand a filament, the whole design too large to ever see in one glance. Galaxies gather into clusters, pulled together by the unseen gravity of dark matter. Within these clusters, galaxies orbit one another like fireflies in a jar, colliding, merging, reshaping. But clusters themselves do not stand alone. They thread together along filaments of invisible mass and gas, rivers that span across cosmic distances. Where filaments meet, clusters bloom, like beads strung at the intersections of silk threads. Beyond these lie superclusters, titanic gatherings of clusters, woven into sheets and walls of galaxies. The Virgo supercluster, to which our Milky Way belongs, is only one ripple in this vastness. Laniakea, a greater structure, stretches across 500 million light-years, holding our home among 100,000 other galaxies. Yet even Laniakea is not the end, only another layer in the lace. Astronomers map these structures with patient effort, tracing the faint light of galaxies across the sky. When their maps are complete, they resemble frost on a window pane, bright lines, delicate branches, intricate networks growing outward in every direction. The cosmic web does not end. It only repeats, scale after scale, pattern within pattern. You imagine drifting outward, leaving Earth, leaving the solar system, leaving the Milky Way. From this perspective, your galaxy becomes a single bead of light, moving with others in its cluster. Step farther back, and you see the cluster as a node along a filament. Step back again, and superclusters stretch like strands across the darkness, a lace of unimaginable size. Yet, even now, you know this is only part of the picture. One frame in an endless design. The repetition carries a kind of comfort, just as rivers branch into streams, and trees split into limbs, and veins run through your own body. So too the universe carries its life through networks. It is not chaos, but connection everywhere. The same patterns echo across scales, from the small to the immense. Some see in this fractal beauty a lesson about patience. The web was not woven quickly. Billions of years have passed since the first lights ignited, and still the lace is forming. Galaxies continue to gather, clusters continue to merge, filaments continue to stretch. The universe is always unfinished, always weaving, and you are watching one moment in its endless creation, and yet the web is fragile too. Between the filaments lie voids, vast expanses, nearly empty, darker than any night. These silent regions, where galaxies are rare, make the filaments stand out all the more. It is the balance of fullness and emptiness, presence and absence, that gives the universe its form. Without the voids, the threads would have no shape. Without the threads, the voids would be meaningless. In this, the cosmos reflects the nature of all things, pattern built from contrast, beauty arising from balance. You rest in the thought that your own life, too, may carry webs within webs, connections that branch outward, networks unseen but essential, patterns that only become clear when you step back far enough to see. The universe does not weave quickly, and it does not weave simply. It builds patiently, repeating, layering, creating lace upon lace. From particles to galaxies, from clusters to super, it sings the same song in deeper and deeper tones. And as you let your mind wander through these webs within webs, you sense that the pattern does not end here. For beyond even superclusters and filaments lies the expansion itself, the quiet stretching of the whole fabric. The lace is not fixed. It is growing, spreading outward, carrying every thread with it into the wide silence. From the moment of its first breath, the universe has been stretching. What began as a compact fire has been unfolding ever since. Space itself, lengthening distances between galaxies growing wider. And yet, though everything drifts apart, the pattern remains. The cosmic web expands, but it does not break. Like a melody played on strings, the notes may move farther apart, but the music continues. You imagine standing within this vast symphony, galaxies around you glowing like instruments. At first, they are close, the harmony tight. Then, slowly, they separate, each starry island sliding away, carried on the invisible expansion of space. The intervals widen, yet the rhythm persists. What you see is not disorder, but balance in orchestra in motion. Its tempo, measured not in seconds, but in billions of years. Expansion is not like objects moving through empty air. It is space itself that grows. The very fabric stretches, carrying galaxies with it, like raisins rising in a loaf of bread. No matter where you stand, the view is the same, galaxies receding in every direction, each convinced it is at the center, each riding the same quiet current outward. The farther a galaxy lies, the faster it appears to move away. This was the discovery of Edwin Hubble, who watched the redshift of starlight its wavelengths stretched as space itself lengthened. The deeper you peer into the cosmos, the farther back in time you see, and the faster those galaxies flee. The song of expansion is written into light itself, each photon carrying the echo of the universe's widening breath. And yet, within this widening, there is harmony. Galaxies do not scatter randomly. They remain bound to the filaments of dark matter, glowing like beads along a stretched necklace. The voids between them widen, but the threads hold. The web endures, even as it thins, each note part of a greater score. You picture the expansion as music too vast to hear. Each galaxy a violin, each cluster a chord, each supercluster a deep, resonant drum. Together, they form a symphony of separation, tones spreading outward, the harmony evolving as the universe matures. Silence is its conductor, patience its rhythm, eternity its audience. There is beauty in how expansion does not erase the past. The light you see tonight from distant galaxies began its journey billions of years ago, when the universe was smaller, tighter, younger. Each photon is a messenger of what was, even as it travels through what is. To look outward is to listen backward, to hear older notes still echoing across the hall of space. Scientists speak of acceleration now, of dark energy pushing the universe apart faster than before. The score changes, the tempo quickens. Galaxies once within sight will slip beyond horizons, their light stretched into invisibility. The music will continue, but fewer instruments will remain within earshot. It is a symphony that shifts even as you listen, reminding you that nothing in the cosmos stays still. And yet, even in this acceleration, there is no chaos. The laws of expansion hold steady, the patterns remain. What changes is scale, not song. The cosmic web grows ever larger, ever thinner, but the melody carries forward, endless and unbroken. You rest in the thought that you, too, are part of this music. The atoms of your body were born in stars that sang their brief notes before scattering into space. Your breath, your heartbeat, are harmonies stitched into the larger score. The universe is not distant from you. It is playing through you, each cell a quiet resonance of its unfolding song. And as you listen to this silent symphony, you sense that its music carries beyond even expansion. For if space itself is the instrument, then what lies beyond may hold another verse, another harmony waiting to be heard. The universe, for all its stars and galaxies, is built first from something simple. Hydrogen, the smallest, quietest atoms, also the most abundant, born in the furnace of the Big Bang. It spread across the young cosmos like a soft mist, filling every corner of space. From this delicate haze came the first lights, the first stars, the first galaxies. Hydrogen is the universe's breath, and its whisper is still everywhere. Though invisible to your eyes, hydrogen glows faintly with a unique voice. At a wavelength of 21 centimeters, its radio signal ripples through space, carrying a story older than galaxies themselves. To astronomers, this faint murmur is a lantern in the dark. By listening to it, they can trace the hidden filaments of the cosmic web, the scaffolding on which the entire universe rests. You imagine drifting along one of those filaments, surrounded not by blazing suns, but by hydrogen atoms floating quietly in space. Each atom is almost nothing, a single proton, a single electron, bound in the simplest embrace. Yet gathered in billions upon billions, they become the fabric of creation. They sketch the map that galaxies later follow, guiding the architecture of the cosmos. It is a paradox. The boldest structures are traced by the faintest of elements. Astronomers use massive radio telescopes, vast dishes staring into silence, to catch these tiny whispers. Together, they stitch maps of the invisible, revealing threads of hydrogen weaving across billions of light years. The universe's great web is not drawn in ink or light, but in the most fragile glow of all. Hydrogen is not just the cartographer of space, it is also its fuel. Stars are born when gravity gathers hydrogen into clouds dense enough to ignite. In fusion's fire, hydrogen atoms merge, releasing the light that warms planets, paints galaxies, and feeds life. Every sunrise, every candle, every glimmer you see begins with hydrogen's quiet willingness to change. Even in your own body, hydrogen has its place. In every drop of water you drink, in every breath you take, its atoms wait, ancient and familiar. Some have traveled through stars, others have drifted since the beginning of time, but all are part of the same vast story. The same atoms that map the cosmic web also move through your blood, reminding you that you are stitched into the universe's design. When astronomers tune in to hydrogen's signal, they are not only mapping matter, but also time. The farther away the hydrogen lies, the older its light. Each faint pulse is a memory of the universe at a different age, a diary written in the simplest hand. To listen to hydrogen is to eavesdrop on the cosmos itself, tracing both its structure and its history. You picture the cosmic web glowing faintly in hydrogen's outline, like a constellation too large for human eyes. It is a map without borders, a pattern without end, and at its heart lies a truth both humbling and gentle. The universe's greatest structures are born from the smallest beginnings. Hydrogen, the quietest atom, carries the loudest story. With its faint glow, it reveals the skeleton of the cosmos. With its fiery heart, it fuels every star. With its presence in water and breath, it threads life itself. What seems fragile is, in truth, the strongest thread of all. And as you rest in this thought, you realize that you, too, are drawn into this map. You are not separate from the filaments, not outside the glow. You are part of the hydrogen's journey from the birth of the universe to the stars, to the cells within you. The softest element has written you into its bold design in the great expanse of the universe. Galaxies are not always isolated islands. Sometimes, faint rivers of matter stretch between them, weaving invisible bridges across the void. These bridges are not stone or steel, but threads of hydrogen, gas, dark matter, and dust, pulled thin by gravity's patient hands. They are the lifelines of the cosmos, carrying nourishment from one starry city to another. You imagine two galaxies passing close, their immense halos of dark matter brushing together like shadows overlapping. In that meeting, gravity tugs streams of gas outward, drawing long filaments that arc across millions of light years. These bridges become channels of creation, feeding galaxies with fresh material for stars. They are cosmic rivers, flowing not with water, but with the substance of suns. Astronomers first glimpsed these delicate structures through faint signals, the soft glow of hydrogen gas, the subtle bending of light from background galaxies. The bridges are difficult to see, nearly invisible against the darkness, but their presence is undeniable. Where galaxies interact, the threads stretch out, faint scars of connection. Sometimes, entire stars ride along these bridges, forming clusters suspended between worlds. It is a humbling thought that galaxies, so vast and bright, still depend on one another for survival. No galaxy is truly alone. Just as rivers carve life into valleys on Earth, these cosmic rivers deliver sustenance across the universe. Without them, galaxies might starve, their star-making slowed, their spirals fading into stillness. With them, galaxies remain fertile, glowing with newborn stars. You drift with the thought that even in the coldest emptiness, generosity persists. A galaxy gives part of itself, and in the giving, another thrives. This quiet sharing stitches the universe together, not only with gravity's pull, but with the flow of matter itself. Sometimes, these bridges are temporary, formed during galactic encounters. As two galaxies approach, streams of gas stretch between them, like arms reaching out. In time, they may merge, their separate lights becoming one. Other bridges endure for billions of years. Long filaments connecting distant galaxies, reminding us that the web of the universe is not only a framework, but also a network of exchange. You picture standing at the midpoint of such a bridge, suspended between two galaxies. On one side, spiral arms blaze with starlight. On the other, another galaxy swirls in silence. Between them stretches a soft river of gas, too faint for eyes to see, yet alive with possibility. It is like standing on a cosmic bridge at dusk, feeling the pull of two cities of light. Science reveals that these flows are more than beautiful, they are vital. The gas streaming along the bridges becomes the raw material for new stars, fueling cycles of birth and renewal. Without this replenishment, galaxies would burn through their supply and fade. Instead, they remain active, vibrant, and growing, nourished by the threads that tie them together. It is easy to think of the universe as a place of separation. Stars far from stars, galaxies drifting apart. But these bridges remind you that connection is everywhere. Even across unimaginable distances, matter flows. Even in the silence of space, relationships endure. And in this reflection, you find a mirror. Just as galaxies thrive through sharing, so too do you. Your life is fed by connections, by air, by water, by the presence of others. Alone, you are finite. Connected, you are sustained. The bridges between galaxies are proof that the universe is not only vast, but also intimate. Its greatest structures are not walls, but pathways. Its grand design is not isolation, but exchange. As you rest with this vision, you imagine the universe as a city of lights. Each galaxy, a glowing neighborhood. Each bridge, a quiet street between them. And along these streets flow not cars or footsteps, but the very ingredients of stars. Creation moves through these avenues, slow but unbroken, ensuring that light will always find a way to shine. Gravity is everywhere, yet invisible. It does not shout or flash like light. It simply pulls, patiently and without pause. From the faintest whisper of hydrogen gas to the blazing weight of galaxies, gravity gathers, arranges, and binds. The cosmic web exists because of this quiet hand, shaping the formless into structure, threading the universe into order. You picture the web as a vast tapestry. Left unstitched, it might unravel, its threads drifting loose into endless night. But gravity bends them inward, drawing strands together until they cross and knot. At each crossing, galaxies form bright beads strung on an invisible cord. At each knot, clusters rise, glowing hubs of stars, surrounded by the filaments that connect them. It is tempting to think of gravity as force alone, a stern tug pulling everything down. Yet, in truth, it is more like patience. For billions of years, it has been at work, sculpting slowly, shaping gently. A faint ripple in the early universe became a filament. A slightly denser patch of gas became a galaxy. Nothing was rushed, nothing skipped. Gravity simply waited, always working, always drawing pieces together. Galaxies spin in spirals because gravity holds them close. Stars burn steadily because gravity presses their cores, kindling fusion. Planets circle suns because gravity ties their paths. Without it, there would be no stars, no planets, no sky to read. Without gravity, there would be only silence particles, drifting alone, never touching. Astronomers map the web by following gravity's marks. They trace how galaxies cluster, how filaments stretch, how voids remain empty where gravity could not gather enough matter. These patterns are not random. They are the quiet fingerprint of gravity, pressed across billions of light-years. In your imagination, gravity becomes a weaver at a loom. The threads are not wool or silk, but time and matter. The shuttle passes slowly, billions of years for a single motion, yet the cloth appears filaments, knots, clusters, a universe stitched. There is elegance in this slowness, a reminder that creation is often the work of patience, not haste. Gravity is also balance. Too much pull, and galaxies collapse into dense knots. Too little, and matter drifts apart into nothing. The web exists in the in-between, where attraction is steady but not crushing. In this balance, beauty emerges, not only the grand arcs of filaments, but the tiny dance of planets around suns. Even now, gravity continues its quiet shaping. Galaxies fall toward one another, drawn by their halos of unseen mass. Over millions of years, they will merge, forming larger, brighter structures. The web is never finished. It is always in motion, always reshaping itself. To live in this universe is to live in a work of art that is still being woven. You drift with this thought that the same hand-shaping galaxies also holds you. Your body rests on Earth because gravity keeps you grounded. The tides rise and fall beneath the moon's pull. The stars you see at night are bound in place because gravity has tied them into constellations. You are not separate from this web. You are part of its threads. And so, gravity is not only a law, but also a story. It is the story of gathering, of keeping, of holding close. It is the reason stars shine, the reason galaxies glow, the reason you can look up and see a sky filled with light instead of emptiness. In the end, you see gravity not as force alone, but as care. It does not let go. It ties the universe together, knot by knot, filament by filament, star by star. And in that tying, it gives shape to everything we know. The universe is not crowded everywhere. For every glowing thread of galaxies, there are spaces between immense stretches where almost nothing resides. These are the cosmic voids, deserts of near-nothingness, vast rooms of silence scattered across the web. They are not empty in the absolute sense, but compared to the luminous richness of filaments, they feel hollow, like pauses between notes in a song. You imagine drifting into such a void. The stars thin, then fade. Galaxies that once seemed close together vanish into distance, until only a faint glow remains at the horizon. Around you, darkness deepens, not threatening, but vast, patient, and still. Here, in this room of space, silence is the most enduring presence. Voids are not mistakes. They are essential to the design. Just as shadows give shape to light, these empty regions define the filaments by contrast. Without them, the web would be a blur, its pattern lost in sameness. The voids carve boundaries, outlining the threads, highlighting the clusters. In their absence of light, form is made clear. Astronomers' map voids the way geographers mark deserts. They stretch tens or even hundreds of millions of light-years across larger than entire superclusters of galaxies. The nearest, the Boat's void, is so wide that if the Milky Way sat at its center, you would see no other galaxies nearby, just a rare few scattered across the distance. To imagine living there is to imagine solitude written on a cosmic scale. And yet, even here, not all is nothing. A faint mist of dark matter flows through, invisible but present. A few lonely galaxies hang within, adrift and apart from their kin. These rare lights in the void are like lanterns in endless deserts, small, fragile, but defiant. They shine all the brighter for their isolation, beacons in a sea of dark. Voids remind you that space is not uniform. The universe is a patchwork of fullness and emptiness, brightness and shadow. In this balance, beauty arises. The filaments could not stand out without the silence of voids behind them. The stars could not gleam without the dark canvas that frames them. You rest in this lesson that absence has its role. The quiet of the voids is not wasted space, but part of the design. Just as pauses make music richer and silence makes words stronger, the emptiness between galaxies shapes the meaning of what exists in your mind. The void becomes a great cathedral of stillness. Its walls are not stone, but infinite distance. Its floor, not marble, but space itself. The silence is not cold, but soft, a kind of rest that belongs only to the cosmos. Within it, galaxies are candles in a vast hall rare, but each carrying significance. Drifting here, you feel no fear. Instead, you sense release. To be in a void is to be freed from noise, from crowding, from hurry. Time stretches wider, unmeasured. The void is patient, waiting without urgency, without end. And though you may call it empty, the void is alive with potential. It holds the backdrop for every future star, every galaxy yet to form, every idea of structure that has not yet been woven. Nothingness, here, is not absence, but possibility. You rest in this thought, that the universe is shaped as much by what is missing as by what is present. The vast, quiet voids are not blank. They are the spaces where the cosmos breathes. The cosmic web is not fixed. Like everything else in the universe, it carries the imprint of time, changing with every passing billion years. To look back across distance is to see the web in its youth thicker, brighter, crowded with forming galaxies. To look closer in the present is to see it stretched thin, the filaments longer, the knots more spread apart. The universe, too, grows old, and the web reveals its story in its beginning. Just after the Big Bang, matter was spread almost evenly. Tiny ripples of density, almost invisible, were the seeds of structure. Gravity gathered them slowly, coaxing gas into strands, strands into filaments, and filaments into galaxies. The web of that era was compact, almost like tightly woven cloth. Galaxies were close together, colliding often, merging into larger forms. The young universe was restless, a place of growth and transformation. You picture it like fabric, fresh from the loom. Its threads pulled taut, its weave thick and strong. The knots of early clusters were dense, heavy with gas, giving birth to countless new stars. The filaments glowed brighter, carrying the energy of fresh creation. The web was young, full of vigor, every thread humming with activity. As time passed, expansion pulled on the cloth. The universe grew wider, stretching the web thinner. Galaxies drifted farther apart, their encounters less frequent. The filaments did not vanish, but they became more delicate, like lace instead of canvas. Where once the fabric was dense with activity, now there are wide spaces of calm. Vast voids deepening between the threads. Astronomers map this change by looking at galaxies far away, whose light has traveled billions of years to reach us. To see them is to see the past, and to watch the web itself in earlier stages of its weaving. They notice how galaxies once clustered closer, how filaments once glowed thicker with gas, how the universe's structure has thinned with age. Looking far into the distance is like flipping through the pages of the web's diary, each entry showing another stage of its life. You imagine drifting through time as though it were space. At one moment, the filaments are tight and glowing, galaxies like sparks along short, strong threads. Then you drift forward, and the cloth stretches, the sparks spread out, the spaces grow wide. The web becomes gentler, quieter, less crowded, yet even in this thinning, beauty remains. The expansion does not destroy the pattern, it only changes its scale. The filaments are still there, the knots still shine, the voids still cradle silence. The web is simply older now, weathered by time, softened by distance. It has traded density for elegance, a lacework spread across unfathomable reaches. You think of a tree in its seasons. In spring, it is thick with leaves, branches crowded and alive. In autumn, the leaves thin, the branches stand farther apart, and yet the tree is still beautiful, still whole. So too with the cosmic web. Its youth was vibrant, but its age is graceful. A pattern stretched wide, delicate yet enduring, and time will not stop. The universe continues to expand, driven by dark energy, carrying galaxies farther and farther from each other. In billions of years more, the web will stretch thinner still, its filaments drawn into even finer threads. The knots of galaxies may drift beyond one another's reach, their light fading from view. The web may grow so delicate that only fragments remain within sight, scattered jewels in a thinning cloth dot. But though your eyes may not see it then, the pattern will endure. The laws of gravity, the threads of dark matter, the flow of hydrogenol will continue weaving, even if too faint for us to witness. The web is eternal in its motion, always shifting, always changing, always aging, but never undone. You rest in the thought that the universe is alive with time. Its fabric is not fixed, but dynamic, breathing in its own rhythm. The web is both ancient and newborn, depending on where you look, dense in the far past, delicate in the present, perhaps even fainter in the future. To see it is to glimpse time itself, stretched across space, woven into form, and so you drift, imagining the universe as weathered cloth, softened by age, its threads looser but still connected. The web is a reminder that even the grandest structures grow and change, that time leaves its mark, not only on mountains and rivers, but on galaxies, clusters, and the very fabric of the cosmos. At last, the journey comes back to you. You are not drifting outside the fabric, not apart from the cosmic web, but part of it woven into its very substance. You, standing here, breathing, wondering, are made of the same atoms that once rode the threads between galaxies. Atoms that found their way into stars, into planets, into the cells of your body. You are not separate from the pattern. You are one of its threads. When you look up at the sky, you see only points of light. But beneath those points is the hidden structure that connects them, filaments stretching across billions of light years. And just as galaxies ride those filaments, so do the atoms inside you. Long ago, hydrogen drifted along those invisible highways, carried by gravity into knots of matter. Some gathered into stars, where nuclear fire lit the darkness. Inside those furnaces, hydrogen fused into carbon, oxygen, iron, the elements of life. Later, stars exploded, scattering those elements into space, sending them out again, along the cosmic threads, until they found their way to Earth, until they found their way to you. Every breath you take carries oxygen forged in stars. Every heartbeat is powered by iron that once glowed in stellar cores. Every thought in your mind depends on carbon chains that drifted along cosmic filaments for billions of years before resting here. You are not outside the pattern. You are its continuation. You are a thread that remembers where it came from. Even if you cannot see the whole design at once, the web is immense beyond imagining, yet intimate in this way. It holds you. When you drink water, you drink hydrogen that once floated in filaments stretched across the early universe. When you eat food, you consume atoms that were born in starbursts before Earth itself existed. The web flows into you as much as you flow into it.